Hello, this is Tere. Today is 31st of March 2024. Welcome to the shared recording of my podcast Stars and Cars Chronicles by Amethyst Astro Tarot and my YouTube channel Amethyst Astro Tarot. Yeah, today when I was getting ready to start the recordings, to make the recordings, I was like thinking in which order, because I think lots of things accumulated to put as a recording. So first of all, it's already British summertime that started in UK, and I'm sure that in other parts of the world as well. So our clocks move forward, move forward 1 hour, and so tomorrow April will be starting the month of April, and also in addition to that, tomorrow night there would be the Mercury stationing for retrograde, which I will cover in another recording. And also we are already entered into the second decan of sign of Aries. But in this recording, I will be looking at the ingress chart, like the moment that the 1st of April starts, the April chart, and to understand the energies around that chart. So at the moment, in this regard, first, before starting to share, I will share my screen to show what do we have actually in the month of April until the, of course, Taurus season. I will have a look at it, but my screen doesn't choose it for some reason. Let's see. I will see if I can make this the main thing. If I cannot, what will happen that I will just tell it, and then share the, okay, here we go. Okay, so until the Taurus season starts, we are already here where the Mercury retrograde period will be starting, and then we will only have the Venus starting its journey in Aries, which I will cover about that, which in normally, Venus tends to, at least is thought to be, less comfortable in its expression in Aries, as Venus is normally the natural ruler of the sign of Libra, and Libra is the opposite sign of Aries. So in that sense, sometimes Venus is thought to express itself in a much challenging way in the opposite sign, if it's the opposite sign of the sign that it rules. But I wouldn't agree, and I would be explaining this more in detail. And as you may be, if you are following the astrological sections and everything, there would be the total solar eclipse in Aries. That will be followed by a new moon in Aries on April 8th, which has been which is being covered, but I will be still making a recording or a post about this as well. And on the April 19th, there would be the start of the Taurus season. Though after this, if I'm thinking of other events, I think the most important ones that has been also a good subject for most of the astrologers is the Jupiter Taurus conjunction in Jupiter Uranus conjunction in the sign of Taurus, that will happen on the 21st of April. I have to check not to tell the wrong date, but it should be 21st. But yeah, I will be covering all these. Now I will be stopping the share of this calendar, and I would start sharing the screen from my solar fire. Hopefully I'm managing to share this. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, that's it. Share. So this day, as you can see, it's a welcome April. We are already in the British summertime, 1st of April 2024. As you may already know from my recordings, previous recordings, what I generally look at in these charts to understand the energy of the month starting, depending on the thing. Sometimes I look at, of course, the season starting, I mean, like as well. But here I'm going to be looking into the month of April. What is the general energy? At least this is a UK chart. So, I mean, in other charts, of course, the some of the angles and points can be different, but I will mainly look at the sun, uh, moon, and the ascendant. I generally don't look at the, I mean, like any aspect patterns or aspects. I mean, the contact between the planets. I just look at these, how they interact with each other. So looking at the sun in Aries, I mean, still we can say that there is a good amount of energy that is like being like in terms of the self-expression, like this. There is this bravery, courage, the drive, uh, the will, and the assertion, and sometimes impatience. I mean, bravery and like being courageous. I mean, like to make it more Aries side. I mean, like courageous, impatient, and also being driven, assertive at the same time. We can have these in terms of self-expression and in terms of like projecting the identity in certain areas of our lives, wherever the areas is in our natal charts. That's one point. And then when we look at the moon in the last degrees of the sign of Sagittarius, it will soon move into the sign of Capricorn after Sagittarius. But until that time, that gives the need for exploring, the need for being more free spirited, adventurous, or also, I mean, like when sometimes, I mean, like when we look at the things, I think in a more philosophical way, this can also provide some level of safety and security in our lives. So this can be an expression. I mean, also, I mean, like it's like sometimes we feel that okay, that we have been too much indoors. Let's just go outdoors, especially, I mean, like I'm thinking about of where I am at the moment in Edinburgh. It's like really, even it's a bit chilly outside, the outdoors are calling us to explore and meet the nature more. So that's a nice set of mood for entering into the month of April. When we look at the ascendant rising sign, that's actually interesting. It's in the sign of Scorpio, but as you can see, it's showing 29 degrees 31 minutes, which is the last degree of the actually Scorpio. Sometimes there is a feeling that when it is in the last degrees of a sign, it's like as if it is ending, so you try to achieve more what that sign might mean. I mean, in the end, it's like you are getting out of somewhere. Like it's like, I mean, it's not like a holiday, but something, you are finishing something, and then you try to get the maximum out of it and try to achieve the most with that thing. That can give a feeling of that. I mean, it's called analytic degree in if it talk in technical terms. But when we generally look at the Scorpio, is like since ascendant or rising sign is about how we approach to life and how we view the life and everything. And also ascendant, I mean, sometimes they say that it's that's the impression that you may make when you enter a room. I mean, like, that's the impression that you would like to make, and also the impression that the people will take from you when you just get into a room, and like how they see you. Like, it can be also physical qualities that is coming with it as well. But coming back to the life view, I mean, like, Scorpio can be very emotional, also intuitive. So there can be this kind of things, like approaching things in that way. And also there is this sense of trying to getting into the deep depth of the things, and like find the what is hidden under the thing that we are, I mean, trying to understand. So it's like, and if there is anything to be surfaced, to be unearthed in a way, I mean, like, that's the feeling that comes with that. Also there's some level of mystery, it can be, and this kind of approach can be more prominent, at least with the beginning of the month. And it can be really, in a way, intensive in that way, more intense, more dense in that manner. I also, it takes my attention, at least in this chart, that there is a, like, there is a lot of dominance of still the sign of Pisces and the sign of Aries. That is like, it's, there's something like very emotional, very sensitive, and also kind of, I mean, without looking at the planets, there is this um, being compassionate. And also sometimes it's like the feeling of feeling isolated, or like trying to be away from the real world as well, in terms of the house, family, history, and past. When we look at the dominance in the fourth house, which can be related with that. And also there is this areas that we see in the fifth house, the house of it can be romance, leisure, fun, and also the children as well. That there is a lot of this areas active energy, the enthusiastic approach, and then the energetic approach, and also this sometimes coming with the impatient or aggression as well. But in general, there is a lot of this fire energy that we see in the fifth house, that is like the, as if the um, general things are accumulated in the fourth and the fifth house, and mostly in the northern hemisphere. It's about us more than the others, we can say. And looking at the, I like looking at the elemental balance. And I last month I was doing something like this. I think it was the Aries ingress chart, and it was very interesting, because I was coming to towards the end of the recording, and then I was like, it's like at a point I got a blockage, and then I just couldn't say everything. And by the way, I mean, like, even though we don't see any major aspect between the moon in Sagittarius and the sun in Aries, I have checked, it's the disseminating phase, what they call. And that's the time that I think it's a period that we decided it's time to share our knowledge and then our experience and everything with the rest of the world. It's like there's a sense of uh, sharing is caring, in a way, like what we know, what we do, etc. It's sometimes, that it becomes more abundant when we share it with other people. And it's very interesting that I was the other day writing a post about my YouTube channel, and I was saying that even what we know, or what I personally know, is like, can be like the drops in the oceans, in the ocean. I mean, it's sometimes really nice to share it, whatever it is, whoever is interested in it, with the other people, because that's how we feel growing and improving and have a meaning in life in a way. And it's interesting to see the disseminating phase of the moon in this regard. Having said that, is coming back to the elemental approach, I see that in this chart there is a with Mars, Saturn, and Venus, and also the ascendant in water signs, Pisces and Scorpio. There is a dominance of water signs, and at least at the beginning, it can be a more emotional and more where there is the expression of feelings can be more dominant. And interestingly, there is no placements in any air signs. And I think that when we, even it's an emotional expression or anything like that, it's very important to be able to use our words and to communicate it to other people. Though some may ask that, yeah, when the Mercury is retrograde, how would that happen? There can be like misunderstandings and miscommunication. But I will come to that in the other video. Anyway, so I mean, it's like maybe we should be challenged in some ways with the way of our communication and ideas, but there's a way always to try harder, or maybe really not to push things too hard and just do the things as they are without causing, of course, any misunderstanding. And looking at the modality, I see that like there are quite a lot mutable modality, even though I mean like it is good that we can be adaptable, flexible in most of the situations. Sometimes when it is too much, then it means that we might get out of balance, yeah, because you are like it's also changing and ideas or not getting, I mean, grounded in some parts, and sometimes not keeping things as they are, or not leading things or initiating things enough, and just like being drawn by the to the direction that the wind takes us. It has a feeling of that in the in that sense. I mean, when there is too much mutable energy, it might be a good time to, I mean, maybe put ourselves more in a way that, and then like that adaptability level, maybe we should just slow it down, or take it under control if we can, of course. I think that's the general energy that I get from this chart. As I said, this is that I use the solar fire software, and this is the chart that I took according to the UK when it becomes 1st of April in UK. I will be stopping sharing. I wish everyone a lovely month of April. And as I said, I will be discussing the coming up uh, sign changes, or the solar eclipse and the new moon in the following days. And soon I will be coming back with another recording about the second decan of Aries, and also Mercury retrograde period. All the best. Bye bye.